Curls get the girls. That's probably the most popular gym quote. I don't even know where it comes from. That's out there. I remember hearing this quote before I even stepped into the gym. It's kind of like that's what people think about people to go to the gym. They just go in there, pump arms all day, do bicep curls, barbell, dumbbell, cable, all that sort of stuff. It's probably the least favorite. In fact, by far, it's the least favorite exercise that I've ever done in my life. And that's partly because when I first started training, man, there was way too many people doing those exercises like bicep curls. And rarely do you ever see somebody do squats and deadlifts and cleans and all that sort of stuff. If you spend more time curling than you do squatting and deadlifting, I don't like you. Oh man, it's just one of those things. Like I've come from basketball. Basketball is a performance sport. You want to jump quicker, shoot better, run faster, all that sort of stuff. Bicep curls to me was just a complete waste of time. It does nothing to your athleticism. It's one of those exercises that's just for people to fill out a t-shirt, go out and pick up chicks. That's how I viewed it back then. And this is how, like, I never really liked to do it because even though initially when I first started working out, I would do them, I'd realized that, I'm about athletics, I'm about performance. And so very quickly it fell off when I first started kind of learning about the game and what's going on. Bicep curls is just basically an isolation exercise for the biceps. For a long period of time, I never did it. In fact, the last time I did bicep curls was probably a year and a half. And the reason why I didn't back then was because I was running a bit of a test to kind of test out if my bench press would improve when I added bicep curls in this agonist-antagonist type of relationship where if you train the antagonist just as hard as the agonist, you will get kind of like a net gain in the overall kind of joint. So the bench press is, elbow extension. And so I thought, let's train elbow flexion as well in the hope that the tricep will kind of free up a little bit more and there will be no kind of neural inhibition because of a weak bicep. And so that's why I did it. And I hated it. I hated every freaking rep that I ever did. I always felt weird doing this exercise. It's kind of like, why am I doing this, man? This is not going to, it's so far away from my squatting goals. Like, I don't even like the bench press. And here I'm doing curls. It used to kind of piss me off. Anyway, I kind of ran it for a little bit and the effects were whatever the effects were. I just couldn't stand doing it any longer. So I'm doing it again. Why the hell am I doing bicep curls again? The least freaking favorite exercise of all time. The reason why I'm doing it is because every other day, as you guys know, I'm doing heavy RDLs and heavy squats. Yesterday I did a whole bunch of those, 5 sets of each, very heavy. And so today I've come in and I've once again gone back to the RDLs, really light, 60 kilos, worked that range of motion off the blocks. Went to the front squats and I was hoping to do, because today is the day off work, I was hoping to do 100 kilos for maybe 5 sets of 5 or something like that. Well, I got to the first set of 5 and I felt my core and my lower back start to fatigue. And it makes sense. Yesterday, I worked really hard. I but I really kind of ran through a brick wall yesterday. I felt really good. I had a whole bunch of days off before that, so I smashed those 5x5s. Today I've come in and obviously I'm weak in the core, weak as a whole freaking system. And so I thought, okay, I can't do RDLs, I can't do freaking squats, so what do? I kind of sat there for a little bit thinking about it and I thought, well, I can't do anything that I like to do. I've done it all yesterday kind of, and I need to kind of recover from this. I've gone so far away from the original kind of, do bits and pieces every single day. Now I'm kind of really smashing the 5x5, so I can't do this thing every day. So then I thought, okay, let's trade the bench press. I've kind of been cornered into this damn bench press training. So I'm doing the bench press and I thought, I really want to do some pulling. Okay, so let's do some pull-ups. So just about as I was kind of about to jump up and do some pull-ups, I thought to myself, well, I feel my lats as well. And, surprisingly, these RDLs have really been taxing my lats. I've been getting some DOMs on some days after really pushing the RDLs. And so I thought, well, I don't want to do anything that's going to take away from tomorrow's exercise, tomorrow's session, which is, again, heavy RDLs and heavy squats. So I thought, okay, the bench press is clean. It's not going to interrupt anything that I'm going to do tomorrow. Pull-ups will. Pull-ups are going to make my lats tired and they're going to peel my shoulders away as I start doing RDLs. I won't be able to stabilize my back and that will take away from doing RDLs effectively. So I thought, okay, what other pulling exercise can I do without lats? So I thought, well, you can't really pull without lats. And this is how barbell curls came to my mind. So after running through these RDLs and squats, I started doing bench press and supersetting that with barbell curls. It's funny how you one thought leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. So these off days or these light days are quickly becoming not fun for me, because you guys know what I'm about. I just want to freaking squat and deadlift. Here I am doing a lot of bench pressing, and here I'm doing freaking barbell curls. To expand upon the idea from last year, middle of last year, about this antagonist-agonist relationship, you'll see the video. The first set that I did the first set of 5 that I did with 100 kilos in the bench press felt a little bit kind of, well, I was cold. I didn't really warm up all that much. I just straight ran up to it. But then the second set, after I did the barbell curls, felt better. The elbows felt lubricated and all that sort of stuff, and I started really kind of running through them. I ended up doing 6 sets of 5 with that, and I did 6 sets of 20 with just an empty barbell. Barbell's 20 kilos, supinated barbell curls. I must admit, feeling a pump through the bicep feels all right. It feels all right. And one of the things that kind of occurred to me when I was doing it is that, it's really a compound exercise. As much as I freaking hate to say it, these barbell curls, it's a compound exercise because you're not sitting on a chair. It is an exercise which you have to stabilize. So I kind of worked out or noticed that my glutes were being activated while I was doing bicep curls. Just because as you're curling up, the weight is getting away from you. And so 2 things can happen there. You can let your lower back, hyperextend, or you can lock the whole system in with your glutes. And so I was finding that I was contracting my glutes, although the glute contraction wasn't anything crazy. It's not going to replace the freaking squat or the deadlift anytime soon. But it occurred to me that this is probably a compound exercise, as much as I don't like to think about it as a compound exercise. And in the last year, there's been a whole bunch of people doing very heavy bicep curls, like 1 rep maxes, Larry wheels, and all these type of characters. It's not a pretty sight for me, and that's something I don't really enjoy to look at. I'd much rather look at Larry Wheels do his incredible lifts that he does with deadlifts and squats and whatnot. That's kind of what I enjoy to do. But he also kind of made me thinking about a fella that I triaged not too long ago. He ruptured his bicep. He came onto the window and he was holding his kind of hand. I thought he fell and kind of fractured his hand the way he was holding his arm. He was kind of holding one hand with the other one, came up to the window and he's like, popped my bicep. And, just by looking at him, he was wearing kind of a tank top. I said, how did you do this? He's like, I was just moving a TV around the house. We're kind of moving. And I picked the thing up and it just went pop. And so I looked at his arms and you can see the tendon retracted, the distal tendon of the bicep extended. I was trying to work out which head of the bicep it was. Wasn't really clear to me. But you can see the whole thing just crunched up to his shoulder. He wasn't in all that much pain. He was kind of upset and frustrated. The dude looked built, right? So this is a guy that looked like a unit. His arms looked like they were bigger than his quads. And this is one other thing that really pisses me off about bicep curls and people that do bicep curls. Generally, if you spend more time doing bicep curls than you do squatting and deadlifting, man, that pisses me off. That's completely missing the purpose of training, in my view. Although training as a whole, there's many different things. There's bodybuilding, there's powerlifting, there's Olympic weightlifting. Where I am situated on this realm of fitness, bicep curls have no business in my life, basically. But when I see somebody spend an hour on freaking bicep curls with 50 different exercises and then it does 1 set of 5 with squats, that's kind of like ludicrous to me, because it's like the squat does everything and the bicep curl does very little. Anyway, so this guy said to me 2 days before the injury, he did a monster arm session and he did preacher curl and all this sort of stuff. He was listing all this stuff to me and I said to him, are you on steroids? Straight up, I said this to him. Are you on steroids? He's like, no, I'm not. I don't take any of that stuff. He looked big, but he didn't look shredded. Like, he looked like a guy that, he had quite a lot of fat around him, but his arms were just incredibly disproportionate to the rest of him. He had big arms. So he just said, like, yeah, I did a lot of I smashed my arms, and then I just kind of grabbed the TV. It was a large TV, and the moment I lifted it, it just went pop. And I thought to myself, man, how does somebody that is natural pop a tendon like that and he trains biceps. It's really interesting to me. Like, in my experience, every time somebody pops a bicep, it seems as though that they are, enhanced. They're on PEDs. So the thing with PEDs is that they really strengthen the hell out of your muscles much, much quicker, at a faster rate than they strengthen your tendons and ligaments and whatever. And so after a certain period of time, you have developed this really juicy, strong muscle, and the tendon just can't keep up and it just pops off because the force that the muscle produces is way, way superseding what the tendon can actually hold on to. And so this is how this happens. But in a natural athlete, in a natural person, those two things are basically 1-to-1 ratio. But in this case, he popped it. I mean, depends how he grabbed it. Maybe he twisted his arm. Maybe he supinated too much or whatever. I know in deadlifting, the supinated hand usually lets go of the tendon. That's how it pops. Anyway, so I did a whole bunch of bicep curls today. I kind of got cornered into it. It's just one of those things. The way I was kind of thinking about it, I know pulling to pushing ratios is very kind of prominent in my head when it comes to squatting, the lower body, the hip hinging and all that. So I'm doing a lot of RDLs compared to the squats. And so I thought, okay, I need to do the same thing up here, but there's a bit of a carryover here because the RDLs that I'm doing are heavy on the back, heavy on the lats. Like I said, I've been getting a lot of, DOMs through my lats. And so I didn't want to, impede on the exercises that I was going to do tomorrow with what I was going to do today. And so pull-ups, I love pull-ups. I would rather do pull-ups day and night before doing a freaking single rep of a barbell curl. But the way I kind of thought about it today, I was like, okay, let's just freaking do it. And so right now, I feel like my lats are completely off, of course. But the biceps feel absolutely exhausted. I don't know. There's so many different fitness groups. If you're a bodybuilder, of course, bicep curls are a staple in your workout regimen. You want to build that, balance in the upper body. A lot of you guys have said to me, what the hell are you doing with your arms? A lot of you guys have kind of commented, my arms look jacked. My arm look a lot better than they were 6 months ago. And the only thing I can think of, man, honestly, I have not done a single freaking bicep curl off camera or anything like that. Trust me, I barely did them on camera, let alone to do them off camera. I think the deadlifts, man. I honestly don't know what else I was doing that has put on mass on my biceps. I just... I don't do a lot of pull-ups. In fact, I haven't done pull-ups for a month now. I don't know. It must be the contraction, some sort of isometric contraction while I'm pulling these deadlifts and RDLs. I've noticed as well, since you guys pointed it out, that my biceps are looking pretty impressive. As you can see on the screen now, I'm doing these, and this is my first freaking day of doing bicep curls, and they look all right. The arms look all right. And so, once again, I'm going back to the same thing. If you're doing the deadlifts and squats, your whole body gets stimulated. Unlike this thing, like my quads, my hamstrings, my calves, everything's kind of not really engaged. Maybe if I did, 5 sets of 5 with bicep curls. I don't even know how that looks. Do people do that? Usually people do bicep curls, 8 to 12 or 10 to 20 repetitions, something like that, pump work. Once again, I'm always kind of hesitant because there's so many stories about people popping biceps. I'm hesitant to do super maximal bicep curls where you're using your glutes and body English and all of that, because in that eccentric portion, I feel like if you try to control that, the thing will pop, especially if you're supinating grip, because it feels like there's a whole lot of tension on the bicep there. So I'm never going to go down that path, but if you're somebody that's watching this and you have a really impressive barbell curl, maybe you can shed some light on this. I'm by no stretch of the imagination somebody that's really good bicep curls, even though my biceps look not too bad, but I don't think there's any strength in them. It's funny how there's specificity in exercises. So I got the bicep mass that I have, I got it through deadlifting, I think. Maybe even squatting, holding that position, I don't know. But in the bicep curl, like I'm doing 5 sets of 20 with the barbell here. I don't know. I don't think that's good at all. I've seen people freaking curl 60 kilos. Not for 20, but So anyway, I'm going to go back to the training log from last year, and I'm going to try and have a look at that period where I was doing bicep curls, and I'm going to try and make sense whether it was a positive experience or not. I have a feeling that it was. I don't know whether it was as an effect off the bicep curl, or it was just making my elbows feel really good, and so I was doing more benching. It's hard to kind of draw these conclusions, but the these bicep curls, like, you know, they're not fun, but they make you feel all right. They make you feel good. Also, I don't like, this is the thing, we're all different. I don't like the physique. And this is part of why I don't like bicep curls in general, because the people, when I first started training, man, 99% of the people in the gym would never miss a freaking bicep day, ever. But 99.9% would miss leg day. And so what does that mean? After several years of training, these people all have really good biceps and they have no legs. And so the physique that kind of results in is this reverse pyramid type of thing where no legs, no legs, no legs, pretty good lats, and then these like disproportionately big biceps. I think it looks funny, man. It looks weird to me. It doesn't look appealing to me. I would rather have somebody who is, when I see develop hamstrings and quads and glutes, I know that person is strong. You know what I mean? I know that person can throw a punch probably and is strong. And I know that person's got a really strong spine and can probably pick me up and throw me. But if I see somebody with no legs, like skinny legs and a really big upper body, I feel like I could snap them. I feel like if I just tackled them and, you know, because if you think about it, like athletic performance is about number one, your base, right? And your base is your legs. And your legs contribute a lot to your upper body stability or your spinal stability. You know, I remember listening to Mike Tyson talk about the punch comes from the hips. You know, everything comes from the hips. Jumping, running, everything comes from the hips. And so your legs are so much more important than your arms. That's how I view fitness. This is what makes me tick. And I'm sure, I'm thinking about like all the gymnasts now, all the guys on Olympic rings. They have incredibly humongous arms, and they can hang there all day, do the cross. That's really impressive. Really, really impressive. But for me, the way I kind of picture what I want out of fitness is I want a strong spine, and I want to be able to kind of hold weight, squat weight, deadlift weight, run fast. You know, so all those things are unrelated to those Olympic rings. It's kind of like the reverse of that. I want to be good on land, and I don't want to be good on, not so much good in trees and hanging, all that kind of stuff. This is the beautiful thing about fitness. You can do whatever the hell you want. You know, maybe somebody out there is listening to this and is getting pissed off because maybe for you, the bicep curl, the barbell curl is like a staple in your exercise program. For me, it's kind of like an afterthought and it's not even fun, you know, because it doesn't contribute to my goals. Anyway, guys, bicep curls shouldn't get girls. Squats and deadlifts should get the girls. And the girls that get excited about biceps, I don't want anything to do with them. Well, I don't want anything to do with any girl because I'm happily married and all of that stuff. So anyway, it's a bit of fun in this video. Do your squats and deadlifts much more than bicep curls. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.